Mark's Gospel begins like this: the beginning of the Gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And Mark's Gospel is where we want to encounter the radical humanity that Jesus represents and enacts and empowers. And the story of Mark's Gospel is wrapped up in one simple question. The question is, who is Jesus? It's tied up with who he is and what he did. And so in Mark's Gospel, you don't get a nativity story. You don't get any accounts of his childhood. Limited amount of teaching, and 75% of the whole Gospel is tied up with the last couple of weeks of his life. And so it starts off with the preparation by John the Baptist, introducing the man in the background of the Old Testament, against the back cloth of the Old Testament. And it talks about the baptism of Jesus, the Spirit, the voice from heaven, and then the temptation story of Jesus. And then you introduce to Jesus. And so this is what I wanted to think about. Who is Jesus? Based on chapter 1 of Mark's Gospel. Have a look. So first in chapter 1 verse 14, he's the one who calls. He says the kingdom of God is near. That's his calling card. That's his visiting card. That's the point that he's summoning people to. The kingdom of God. That means the powerful presence of God. It means the rule of God. The majestic rule of God is near, is nigh, is at hand. And then on the basis of that, he says to people, come, follow me. I will make you fishers of men, and make no delay. And so without delay, they leave their father, they leave their nets, and they come after him. It's radical. That's the first point about Jesus. He calls. The second one is in verse 21 to 28, he's the one who drives out evil spirits. That's significant, because where the presence of God is, there cannot be the presence of evil. So just as light drives out dark, just as goodness drives out unpleasantness, try it at home. In the same way, the presence of the kingdom of God drives out evil spirits. And he does this in his hometown and on the Sabbath. And the people's reaction is amazement, followed by gossip. The demons' reaction is insight. The demons know exactly what's happening. They know that their days are numbered. They know they cannot exist. Darkness cannot exist in the same room as light. And here comes someone who switches on the light, and everything changes. And then Jesus' decisive action. He just speaks, and it's done. And it's like the word of creation in Genesis 1. But now it's kind of in reverse. The things that have come against creation, the evil that has infiltrated creation. But now Jesus speaks in the middle, and the demons flee. They go. So he calls, he drives out evil spirits. And the third one in verse 29, he's the one who heals. Just got this lovely little scene. He goes into a house. Peter's mother-in-law is there. He takes her hand, the fever leaves her, she gets up and serves him, and then it goes on, and all the sick and demon-possessed came to him, and he heals many, and he drives out many demons, and he won't let the demons speak because they knew who he was. Isn't that great? It says, shut up, get out. Sounds like an infant school teacher that I used to have. And then in verse 35, he prays and he preaches. So he prays alone, and this is the kind of solitariness of Jesus, and it's the source of his power. He's on his own with his Father, and time again he goes out into a quiet place and comes away from the crowds and prays. And it's not a chore or a duty. Oh Lord, no. It's the source of who he is and where he comes from. And then he preaches, and the crowds listen with amazement. Who is he? Who is he? And of course that's the question that Mark is trying to put inside our hearts. Who is? So what's... and then the last bit of chapter 1, he heals a leper. What does that mean? Is that not just healing? Well, no, because lepers were the total example of an unclean. They were the living dead. They were not allowed in the towns. They were not allowed in the synagogues. They were not allowed in the temple. They were the living dead. They were. So when Jesus touched them, he was reinstating them into society. He said, he was saying, go show yourself to the priests. When he touched them, he cleansed them, and he was reintroducing them. He was saying, let the outsider become an insider. Come close. It was resurrection. It was life from death. It was resurrection. And it came out of this manifest compassion of, like kind of Mother Teresa style. I will touch what is untouchable. I will heal what is beneath everybody's contempt. Show me what is beyond God's love. There ain't nothing. So here he is. So what's Mark's initial answer to this simple question? Who is Jesus? He's a man with power. And power over evil. Power over sickness. Power over the living death of leprosy. He's a man with love. He has compassion on hopeless situations. He is a man under constraint, under calling himself. But that very constraint is the constraint of love. Like a mother just giving up everything instantly without a thought because of her love for a child. And third, he's a man with authority. The one who calls and the one who demands that you follow. Don't you think it's radical? He's doing this because of a sense of timing. The kingdom is near. It's nearer than you imagine. It's right here. And where you are, the one who's answered the call of Christ, the kingdom is present. And if you believe that Christianity today has nothing to do with healing and demonic deliverance and compassion and love and all the immense energy of the calling of Christ, then you're missing out, because this is what the kingdom is, and this is what radical humanity is all about. More tomorrow. God bless you.